Master Your Mind, 15 Powerful Tips for Success and Happiness. I was burning out. I was chasing success, climbing the ladder, and ticking all the boxes I thought I was supposed to. But with every new achievement, I felt more stressed, more exhausted, and less happy. I figured the answer was to just work harder, to hustle more. I was wrong. The constant pressure was crushing me, and I realized my relentless pursuit of success was actually destroying my happiness. Everything changed when I decided to run a simple, one-week experiment. It wasn't about doing more, but about thinking differently. The results weren't just surprising, they were life-altering. The mental shifts I made that week didn't just make me more productive, they fundamentally transformed my entire approach to life. And today, I'm going to share every single one of those 15 shifts with you. This isn't just another list of productivity hacks. This is about mastering the single most powerful tool you have, your mind. It's about achieving the success you want and the happiness you deserve without burning out. We're going to explore 15 practical, proven tips you can start using today. We'll begin with the foundational mindset changes that create the bedrock for a new way of thinking, then move into powerful daily actions that turn these ideas into automatic habits. This is about learning to work smarter, not harder, by aligning your thoughts with the outcomes you truly desire. If you've ever felt like you're running on a hamster wheel, busy but never fulfilled, then this is for you. The core problem and the promise. Let's be honest about what holds most of us back. It's usually not a lack of ambition or a poor work ethic. For most of us, the real blockers are invisible. They're the patterns running in the background of our minds. Things like negative self-talk and cognitive distortions, where our brain tells us stories that simply aren't true. It's that all-or-nothing thinking that says if we aren't perfect, we're a total failure. It's catastrophizing, where one small mistake feels like the absolute end of the world. It's that inconsistent motivation. You know the feeling. You're fired up one day and completely empty the next because we lack truly clear goals. It's the constant stress overload from a world that never seems to switch off, leading to poor sleep and a mind that feels perpetually scattered. And it's emotional reactivity, where we let small triggers dictate our entire mood and derail our day. These mental blockers are exhausting. They drain our energy and make success feel like an uphill battle fought in thick mud. But here's the promise. You can change these patterns. Imagine having clarity instead of confusion, consistency instead of chaos. Imagine having a calm, focused mind that can handle challenges without getting overwhelmed. Imagine waking up with sustainable motivation, not just for a day, but as your new normal. This transformation isn't just possible, it's waiting for you. These 15 tips are the roadmap to get you there. The 15 mental shifts. Tip 1. Adopt a growth mindset over a fixed mindset. The first, and maybe the most important, shift is moving from a fixed to a growth mindset. A fixed mindset believes your intelligence and talents are static. You're just born with them. A growth mindset understands that abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. For years, I operated from a fixed mindset without even knowing it. I'd avoid challenges I feared I wasn't naturally good at. During my experiment, I forced myself to reframe my internal monologue. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, I started saying, I can't do this yet. This tiny change in language was profound. It turned every failure into a lesson and every obstacle into a puzzle. While some studies show the average effects of this mindset can be small, they can be incredibly meaningful, especially in certain contexts, and are linked to higher achievement and greater resilience. It's the belief that your effort, not your innate talent, is the true engine of your growth. Tip 2. Define hyper-specific goals. Vague goals lead to vague results. "I want to be successful" is a wish, not a plan. The second shift I made was to get brutally specific with my goals. Instead of a fuzzy, long-term ambition, I broke everything down into weekly sprints and daily actions. So, Get Healthier became walk for 30 minutes every morning at 7 a.m. and drink 2 liters of water by 5 p.m. Grow My Business became make 5 outreach calls per day and spend 1 hour on market research every Tuesday. This does 2 things. It eliminates the overwhelm of a huge goal, and it gives you a clear, actionable next step at all times. You're no longer staring at a distant mountain. You're just focused on taking the step right in front of you. This creates momentum and gives you a constant feedback loop of small wins, which fuels your motivation. Tip 3. Practice aggressive single-tasking. Let's bust a myth. Our brains aren't really built for multitasking. When we think we're multitasking, we're actually task-switching, and every switch comes with a cognitive cost, draining our mental energy and slowing us down. In fact, trying to juggle complex tasks can slash your productive time by as much as 40%. During my 1-week experiment, this was a game changer. I completely banned multitasking. If I was writing an email, that's all I was doing. No phone notifications, no other tabs open. If I was on a call, I was fully present. The result? The quality of my work skyrocketed, and tasks that used to take an hour were now getting done in 40 minutes. You have a finite amount of high-quality focus each day. Protect it fiercely. When you dedicate your full attention to one thing at a time, you don't just work faster, you work deeper. Tip 4. The 5-minute mindfulness reset. The modern world is an assault on our nervous system. A stressed, scattered mind is the enemy of success and happiness. My secret weapon during the experiment was the 5-minute mindfulness reset. Multiple times a day, especially when I felt overwhelmed, I would stop, close my eyes, and just focus on my breath for 5 minutes. That's it. I wasn't trying to achieve a state of nirvana. I was just anchoring myself in the present moment. While many studies focus on longer sessions, research shows that even brief, daily mindfulness practices of about 10 minutes can reduce stress and anxiety. These short resets act like a reset button for your brain, pulling you out of the frantic what's next, thinking and grounding you in the what's now. 5 minutes is so short, there's no excuse not to do it, but the cumulative effect is enormous. Tip 5. Become a cognitive distortion detective. This is where the real deep work happened. Cognitive distortions are irrational ways of thinking our minds adopt over time, and they're a primary driver of anxiety. For example, all or nothing thinking. If I don't get a perfect score, I'm a total failure. Or mind reading. I just know they think my idea is stupid. During my week, I kept a journal and became a detective of my own thoughts. Whenever I felt anxious or frustrated, I'd write down the thought that caused it. Then, I'd identify the distortion. Just naming the pattern, "Ah, that's catastrophizing again," instantly robbed it of its power. Then, I'd counter it with a more realistic thought. This process of identifying and reframing is a core principle of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, an approach with a strong evidence base for treating anxiety and depression. Tip 6. The 3 wins gratitude practice. Our brains have a natural negativity bias. We're wired to look for threats. Gratitude is the conscious antidote. Every night of my experiment, before bed, I wrote down 3 specific things that went well that day, and my role in making them happen. This isn't about generic things like, I'm grateful for my health. It's about specifics. I am grateful I finished that difficult report because I managed my time well. I'm grateful for the productive talk with my colleague because I made an effort to listen. This practice trains your brain to scan for positives. Meta-analyses show gratitude exercises are associated with small to moderate improvements in well-being and happiness for many people. It actively rewires you to see the good that's already there. Tip 7. Visualize the obstacles, not just the victory. Everyone talks about visualizing success, but top performers also prepare for challenges. This technique combines mental contrasting with implementation intentions. Each morning of my experiment, I'd think about my most important task. First, I'd visualize completing it successfully. Then, I'd visualize the most likely obstacle to get in my way. A tough question, a technical glitch, a moment of distraction. And then, I'd vividly imagine myself overcoming that specific obstacle with calm and confidence. This is a form of mental rehearsal that primes your brain for resilience. When the inevitable challenge arises, your brain doesn't panic. It thinks, I've seen this before. I know what to do. You aren't just hoping for a smooth ride. You're preparing to handle the bumps. We're about halfway through, and if any of these tips are already resonating with you, if you're feeling that little spark of recognition, do me a favor and hit that like button. It lets me know this is valuable and that I should make more videos just like this to help you master your mind. Tip 8. Architect your environment. Your willpower is a finite resource. Don't waste it fighting your environment. The easiest way to change your behavior is often to change your surroundings. I designed my environment to make good habits easy and bad habits hard. For focus, my phone went into another room during work sessions, no exceptions. To encourage my morning walk, my workout clothes were laid out the night before. To reduce mindless snacking, the junk food was removed from the house. This is called environment design. You add cues for the habits you want and add friction for the habits you want to break. You're making your desired path the path of least resistance. Stop relying on motivation alone and let your environment do the heavy lifting. Tip 9. Conduct a self-talk audit. Your internal dialogue shapes your reality. For one full day during my experiment, I paid close attention to how I spoke to myself. And honestly, I was shocked. My inner voice was often a harsh critic, saying things I would never dream of saying to a friend. Phrases like, "You have to be perfect," or "Don't mess this up," were on a constant loop. The ninth shift is to consciously audit and upgrade your self-talk. Swap "I must be perfect" for "Progress beats perfection." Change "I'm so stressed" to "I'm facing a challenge and I can handle it." This isn't about fake positivity. It's about being a supportive coach to yourself instead of a cruel critic. Your self-talk is the script for your life. By changing the words, you begin to change your story. Tip 10. Master the pause for emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is often the missing link between success and happiness. It's the ability to understand and manage your emotions. The most powerful EQ tool I practiced was the pause. When something triggered me, an annoying email, a critical comment, I trained myself to pause before reacting. In that pause, I'd label the emotion. I am feeling angry, or I am feeling defensive, and then consciously choose my response instead of letting a knee-jerk reaction take over. This simple act moves the activity in your brain from the reactive, emotional centers to the more logical, prefrontal cortex. It gives you control. You learn to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, a skill that will save you from countless regrets. Tip 11. Protect the brain that runs your life. You can have the best mindset in the world, but if the physical hardware, your brain, isn't running properly, none of it matters. During my experiment, I made non-negotiable commitments to the 3 pillars of brain health: sleep, movement, and nutrition. These are consistent with public health guidance for cognitive and mental health. I aimed for a consistent 7-8 hours of sleep. I made sure to get at least 30 minutes of moderate exercise each day, even just a brisk walk. And I focused on eating whole, unprocessed foods that fuel the brain. We often treat our physical health as an afterthought. That's backward. Your physical well-being is the foundation upon which all mental performance and happiness are built. Tip 12. Use implementation intentions. Motivation is fickle, but systems are reliable. An implementation intention is a powerful tool for turning goals into actions by pre-committing to when and where you'll act. Instead of a vague intention like, "I'll try to meditate," you create a specific rule. If it is 7 a.m., then I will sit on my meditation cushion for 5 minutes. Or, after I finish my morning coffee, then I will write 1 page in my journal. During my experiment, I planned my entire next day using these if-then statements. It took all the decision-making out of the equation. When the cue happened, I just did the behavior. This strategy has been proven to dramatically increase the chances you'll follow through on your goals, making consistency almost effortless. Tip 13. Time box your deep work. Deep work, the ability to focus without distraction on a demanding task, is a superpower in our world. But you can't do it for 8 hours straight. During my experiment, I implemented strict time boxing. I'd set a timer for 50 minutes, put my phone away, close all unrelated tabs, and focus on one single task. When the timer went off, I would get up, walk around, and take a genuine 10-minute break away from screens. This 50-10 cycle allowed me to work with intense energy and then properly recover. The breaks are just as important as the work. They let your brain recharge, preventing burnout and ensuring the next work block is just as productive. This rhythm allowed me to produce more high-quality work in 3 hours than I used to in a full day of scattered effort. Tip 14. The 2-minute rule for unshakable consistency. Procrastination often comes from a task seeming too big. We get overwhelmed, so we do nothing. The 14th shift, which I learned from James Clear, is the 2-minute rule, and it is the ultimate key to consistency. The principle is simple. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes. Read every day becomes read 1 page. Run 3 miles becomes put on my running shoes. Write a book becomes write 1 sentence. The point isn't about the results in those 2 minutes. The point is to master the art of showing up. During my experiment, whenever I felt resistance, I'd just commit to 2 minutes. And what I found is that once you start, it's so much easier to continue. This rule bypasses procrastination and helps you build the identity of someone who is consistent. Tip 15. Reflect, adjust, and celebrate weekly. Now we come to the final tip, the one that ties everything together and ensures this becomes a lifelong system for growth. This is the weekly review. At the end of my experiment, I sat down for 30 minutes and reflected. What worked? What didn't? What was my biggest win? What was my biggest challenge? This practice is critical. But I want to focus on the most powerful part of this, the cognitive distortion reframing we talked about earlier. This is the absolute game changer. During your review, you look back at the moments you felt stuck or anxious, and you play detective. Step 1. Catch it. You identify the automatic negative thought. Maybe you got critical feedback, and your brain immediately said, "I fail at everything." You catch that thought. Step 2. Check it. You challenge it like a lawyer. Is it really true that you always fail? Can you find any evidence to the contrary? What would you say to a friend who said this? You'd tell them that's ridiculous and list all their successes. You have to do the same for yourself. This is where you find counter-evidence to the lies your brain tells you. Step 3. Change it. You replace the distorted thought with a balanced, truthful one. "I always fail" becomes "I struggled with this task, and the feedback showed me where I can improve. I've succeeded at many other things, and with a better plan, I can get better at this, too." This is how you create lasting change. You use visualization to rehearse this new, balanced thought. You use an implementation intention. If I think "I always fail," then I will pause and find one piece of counter-evidence. This isn't just positive thinking. This is creating a new, more accurate, and more powerful mental reality. This is how you stop being a victim of your thoughts and become the architect of your mind. I know we've covered a lot, so if you only remember 3 things, let them be these. First, embrace a growth mindset. Believing you can improve is the first step to actually improving. Second, become a cognitive distortion detective. Your thoughts are not always facts. Learning to question and reframe them is a powerful skill for your mental health. And third, master the 2-minute rule. Consistency is built on small, easy actions. Master the art of showing up, and momentum will do the rest. Conclusion. That 1-week experiment taught me the most important lesson of my life. I had been chasing success all wrong. I thought it was a destination you reached through brute force. I now know that success isn't a destination. It's a state of mind. It's a byproduct of a well-cared-for mind. And happiness isn't something you find after you become successful. Some research suggests that positive affect is associated with higher productivity and creativity. It's a crucial part of the process. Mastering your mind is about working smarter, not harder. It's about building a system of thinking that supports your well-being, which in turn drives your best performance. You have the power to change your life because you have the power to change your thoughts. My challenge to you is simple. Don't try to do all 15 of these at once. That's a recipe for overwhelm. Just pick one. One single tip that resonated with you the most. Commit to practicing just that one thing for the next 7 days. Let me know in the comments below which tip you're going to choose for your 1-week experiment. I really want to hear what you're committing to. Start small, be consistent, and watch how one small mental shift can begin to change everything.